So yes, I really am asking these big questions about divine appearances, aliens and human powers that you will see in the video description and in the thumbnail. So hi there, I go by the name The Celtic Storyteller, and in this video I am going to give you my intuitive tarot 2022 predictions around these big topics. Now, you may know that while I don't call myself a psychic, I have done a couple of world prediction videos already that require me to tap into a deeper level of intuition than I would usually have time for in my tarot videos. However, I almost didn't do this video. I did wonder if it might seem like I was intruding on the kind of predictions that only a true psychic would do. So that when I mean true psychic, I'm talking about somebody who sees angels or sees spirits. And I felt like, well, who am I to be asking these big questions when I'm only a small intuitive reader from little old Ireland? But look, the feeling that I should do this didn't go away. And the reason I'm now sharing this is because I realised that in reality, we all ask these questions at some point. I mean, who hasn't cried out in the night and asked God or the universe or something for answers? And who hasn't screamed why in their head when they're facing difficulties that they believe they can't overcome? So I think on some level, we all want to know answers like these, or at least answers similar to the questions I'm asking for you today. So I set about asking the questions using the method that I used for other predictions. So that's meditation and tarot and free writing. So I wrote it in my book here first. I did this last Friday and I'm only getting to record it this Friday. So here we go. I am going to tell you the 3 questions I asked, and then you can listen to them all or just the ones that interest you. Overall, I knew I wanted to ask something about divine appearance. I wanted to ask something about aliens and something about human powers. So before each question, I thought quietly about how to phrase the question. And then when I had the question, I shuffled with my eyes closed for as long as it took, which was pretty long. I sat on my cozy chair this time and I didn't film myself, as I just felt that changes the atmosphere a bit for me, and I wanted to be completely without distractions. Now, I think every card bar one dropped out as I shuffled, and I shuffled very carefully and very slowly. So they didn't drop often, and then one card I think I just felt was the one, so that was the extra one that didn't drop. And then once I got my 3 cards for each question, I wrote freely in my journal here for each card or for the combination of cards. Now, I didn't really worry about how it would sound, I just wrote what came to me. So my questions for 2022 are: question 1 here, will we see proof of divine existence like angels, God or the Holy Family? Question 2 simply was, will we see aliens? And question 3 was, will we evolve in some way as humans and see and feel things outside our current abilities? As usual, I'm going to tell you whatever it was I wrote down exactly, and then I will give you a very brief comment at the end of each question. Now, this is very relevant, especially for the first reading, because it will give you a perspective on the cards that came out. So out of the 78 cards that are in a tarot deck, it really felt like the right cards came out, and I was a bit sorry afterwards that I hadn't filmed the shuffle. But as I said, I felt I needed to be alone this time as such. Now I'm going to start with question 1. I'll put these other 2 piles aside for now. So question 1 was, will we see proof of divine existence like angels, God or the Holy Family? Now I got 3, the Empress, 21, the World, and the 10 of Pentacles. So here's my written prediction first. Our Lady, Holy Mary, wants us to know that she has not abandoned us. She wants the world to be a beautiful garden for us to thrive in. She has gifted us with a loving Mother Nature. She watches over us and wants us to know we are so much closer to heaven on earth than we realise. We are but steps away. We are at once on her planet, in her garden, and yet lost in a man-made facade. Don't feed it. Let it starve by ignoring it. Shift the balance off your focus onto her and nature. She will be here to usher in a new world of hope. Say goodbye to a long cycle of being lost, smothered, of the feeling of having no power. She will choose someone older and wiser, someone from an older generation. She will show herself to more than one. She will give her messages to this older person. Now, then I kind of came slightly out of the zone to contemplate timing, which I normally don't do. I don't like to do timing in tarot. And I thought about the 21st of October, just from the numbers here. And, the actual, using tarot as timing, that would be 10 years, but that's too long. And then I kind of was sort of in and out of the zone, and I was thinking, maybe like who's she going to show herself to? Maybe a family even out walking their dogs. Could be a generational appearance. And then I thought out a grotto, and Mother of the World, Saint Anne, came to me. So that's what I wrote for my first prediction. And I just want to point out a couple of things about it that might make you think, and then I'll leave it up to you. So firstly, and here is where I really, really wished I had filmed myself. So you could really see this is genuinely what came out, but I know you believe me, because I wouldn't mess around with this kind of stuff, So of the 78 cards in the deck, this one represents Mary, as in the Blessed Virgin Mary on earth. Now, there's one other card that's supposed to represent somebody from the Holy Family, Jesus, and that's the Magician. And let me tell you why I'm saying that. Because A.E. Waite, in his book, The Pictorial Key to the Tarot, that's Rider-Waite Smith, so this is the guy who created this deck. He does go on a bit without saying what he means, so I had to go to other tarot books to understand what he meant exactly. But for the Empress, he says she's a stately figure, as of daughter of heaven and earth. She is the inferior Garden of Eden, the earthly paradise, all that is symbolised by the visible house of man. See what I mean? He kind of goes on a bit, like, what does that mean? He also says she is not Regina Coeli. Now, I know I'm pronouncing this wrong. This is Latin. But she is still Refungium Pectorium, which means, by the way, that second one is the Roman Catholic name for Virgin Mary. And then he says the fruitful mother of thousands. By doing a bit of research, what he really means is that she is Mary before the Ascension. Isn't that spectacular that this card came out for this question? Okay, so I'll leave that with you. Now, secondly, speaking of Holy Mother on earth, this feminine figure here on the top of the world, as it were, isn't that kind of like an appearance on earth? Anyway, also in the Druidcraft deck, the world is depicted as a hermaphrodite, okay, which is both a man and a woman. So you're talking about complete balance. It's like when you reach almost perfection on earth, or when you've learnt all your lessons, you have that kind of balance. So this kind of divine on earth, I just thought that was very interesting as well. And lastly, I just want to say on this one, because I know it's a big question, while I should probably just say outright that I believe my own predictions, I'm also quite a logical person. So I would love this to come to pass, but will only believe it if and when it does. But, when I was growing up here in Ireland during the 80s, we had a whole summer of moving statues, right? Moving religious statues. And there was a number of reports of the Virgin Mary appearing to young children. So it is something that I've grown up with, that this is a possibility. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'll probably, if I can, I'll put a picture of the statue in Ballinasspittle in County Cork, because that's where that was the most famous moving statue of the Virgin Mary. And, those statues moving like in 30 locations across the country at that time. But I think the first one started that year on Valentine's Day. So there's a couple before that, and then the one in Ballinasspittle was famous. Even before that, the Virgin Mary was seen in Ireland in 1879 by 13 witnesses at Knock Shrine in County Mayo. So now that's a popular site for pilgrims, and even the Pope has visited that twice, the most recent in 2018. So let me just say, you can't beat an old apparition for bringing the nation, or even better, the whole world together. And I would personally love if Our Lady paid us a visit. So I could go on about this topic. I do find it very interesting to contemplate, but it's also a topic that is not really taken as seriously as it once was. So even though I said that in 1985 here in Ireland, we were moving statue mad, and while not everybody believed it was happening, it made for a few funny quips, it was still accepted as a possibility. But a few years ago here in Ireland, they did a documentary on it, and the feeling now apparently is one of embarrassment as a country. That's what they were saying anyway, that the country took it in any way seriously. So really the question might be here is, if Our Lady appeared, would people believe it, or would they dismiss it? So I would absolutely love to hear your thoughts on this if you're watching. And if you're watching, the chances are you might have an open mind as I do. Now, you're welcome to share your ideas or views on whatever you see here for that question. Now, if you live in a place where there were holy apparitions as well, I'd really love to know. Sometimes these things don't actually make it into the news, especially more recently, I think. So if you do have a story, myself and anybody who watches this kind of video, I'm sure would love to know. So do share. That would be absolutely wonderful. And if you have your own website or something that talks about this sort of stuff, I'd love to hear about it. So drop that in the comments below as well. So, okay, let's move on to question 2. So now, question 2, which might be for the less religious, but nonetheless open-minded of us. Question 2 simply was, will we see aliens? So I got the Ace of Pentacles, the 10 of Cups, and Temperance. I'm going to just tell you the written prediction and then a very small comment below on it, okay? So here's the written prediction. Secret garden, secret help. Yes, as in we will see aliens, but it may be a secret. We will be offered help from a much higher intelligence, from a universal source that is above corruption, but I don't even want to sully them by using that word. They are above most races in the universe, so highly evolved and advanced as to be close to what we might believe to be divine, and some might even believe them to be like gods. And then it begs the question, how close is alien to God? God to alien? Is God the most evolved alien? And those without religion will find themselves debating this and unable to understand, as both this alien race and our God, Our Lady, are beyond our total comprehension. What this will bring is total happiness. Aliens bring what God can't, practical help. God cannot interfere because of free will. Aliens can show us how to manage our own resources in a much more efficient manner. Gold or new energy source or way of making use of sun and our planet to use free energy, not exactly solar power, and maybe combining electromagnetic power of whole body of planet and sun's interaction. That bit where they meet is where we get our energy. I think this is in the sky or space or where light and dark meet. Light, of course, is the key. Only angels, as in aliens of advanced consciousness and energy, can show us how to work with the boundaries of our human and earthly plane, yet capture the power given to us for free in the combination of our planet, all of it rotating and our sun at its meeting point. Maybe giants may seem like angels, not many or one will appear on earth physically or be seen. There is enough for everyone, enough resources and power. Okay, so that's what I wrote for the second prediction, and I will just highlight some things again which are food for thought. These words, they just came to me as I looked at the cards and I wrote freely. So I know maybe the sentences don't stick together that well. But I don't want to interpret these too much, as that might take away from any meaning that might reveal itself in future if this did come to pass. Now, yes, maybe you think that's a stretch of the imagination or maybe not. So I will just say the cards once again flooded my mind with meanings or messages that I would not normally think about when reading for these cards, but they seemed obvious as I was writing. The hand, which is in Tower the divine gift, offering gold or resources, indicating these aliens would be far, far advanced than we are, so much so that their technology would be like magic. The rainbow filled with cups or gifts. Happiness, of course, I do believe light holds so much more information than we currently understand. And then temperance, the path to higher understanding. So this is the path to higher understanding on the temperance card. And the triangle here, okay, enclosed in the square, see here. This represents that humans, which are that triangle, are bound by earth and natural law, which is the square. Okay, so there really are so many messages in these cards. Please feel free to add anything you see. You could just put it in the comments down below, because I'd love to know what other people see. I'm just going to leave it at that, but I could, like the last one, I could go on. But I do think there's even more kind of layers of messages in these 3 cards actually. So that's just very interesting, I think. Okay, so that's the third one, and I'll just do the last question for you now. Now for question 3, I asked, will we evolve and see and feel things outside our current abilities? So just to explain, by this I meant, will we be able to see things like, I don't know, spirits or energy, or, what you might call powers, all right? So for this I got the Ace of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the King of Cups. Okay, all cups. And then I just kind of sort of felt called to look at the bottom of the deck, which I normally don't bother doing, and I got the Queen of Cups. So, all cups. Anyway, I'll talk about it later. I'll talk about it at the end. So first of all, I'm just going to read you out my written prediction. So here's the written prediction. Yes, through a combination of opening up to our emotions, especially love, we will open up to our spiritual gifts. Those that are embedded in our DNA, but only activated by pure love, trust and faith. While science might catch up and explain how this works, it is being in two states, one of flow and one of static awareness, in much the same way that light can simultaneously be a particle and a wave. Water can flow and be a drop. Is it one when it is separated? Is it communicating when it is separated? Or does it catch up on the news when it joins the flow? Maybe our divine visitors can help us with this, or our connection to the divine, Our Lady. Either way, whether some people work this out themselves or get some help, it will begin in small steps with little achievements. It will require maturity to manage any opening up of our gifts. This connects back to the mature person Our Lady will appear to. They will have these gifts awakened. They will see into hearts, into the present and future, so really see things as they are now without being poisoned by man-made lies, fallacies. They will be able to extrapolate likely future events because they see clearly what's around us now. They will see energy, hear it. By energy, I mean the life force of living material, nature, animals, people, plants, and eventually angels and spirits. Some people say they can do that now. However, this will happen for those who closed off to any emerging gifts as they were growing up. Now they will reconnect and evolve. This first person and the few who follow will be mature. It will be explained, discussed, understood, and not ridiculed. Again, the first person will be the one who Our Lady appeared to, and those that follow will be in touch with the other entities or aliens. This will be in the news, and although maybe not all mainstream news, there will be discussion about it. Someone who already has these gifts and can see angels will help those who want to develop their gifts do so. Down the road, there will be so many people on the planet who work on seeing, hearing more than we do. Seeing ghosts and talking to spirits, psychic abilities will not be so unusual, and children will not be ridiculed for talking about these types of experiences, and adults won't suppress them. So that's what I wrote for the third and last prediction. I made references to the two other predictions, so sorry if you only wanted to watch one, but I think you can still get the gist of what I'm saying. In short, I did feel that someone or some people who saw an apparition, which was in the first prediction, would be the ones whose abilities were turned on as such first, but that others would follow and help would be given by those who genuinely see and talk to angels and spirits now. One person did come to mind who could do this, but I don't think I should say who that is, as I'm not sure they would like to be mentioned in this video. So the other thing I will say about this is, well, first of all, that I got all cups, So once again, the ace appeared. So like the last prediction, this divine helping hand here, like there's always a divine hand in all the aces. The other cards, as you see, they're all people. So being people, again, I think this is showing me that this is something that can happen to us humans, us people as humans. And the page saying that it's going to be small steps. Now the King and Queen together here, indicating a mature souls, balanced souls, so anyone who is in tune with all sides of their personality. Also those with balanced loving relationships and divine couples like soulmates, or if you like the term twin flames, I would see this as those couples that complete each other or find being with each other moves them to another level of love and understanding. So all the cups, so those who put love first. So I will leave it there. I really could go on again, but I just don't want to bore any of you. So please do, say something below if you have any ideas about this, or if you saw anything in the cards, because I really would love to hear your views. As I said was it the first prediction, if you've had an experience where you've seen something, or you have, you think your abilities are being awakened, I'd love to hear about it. And I know anybody who's watching this would love to hear about that too. So if you want to share, please do. I'd love to hear that. So look, that is it for my 2022 predictions. I just loved delving into these questions. I was really excited about what came out when I wrote. So look, I really hope you enjoyed it too. As I said before, look, you're really welcome to share your ideas or views or whatever on all of these. If you live in a place, as I said before, where there were holy apparitions, like I'd love to know, especially if it never made it into the news. and I'm sure everybody would love to hear those stories. So do keep in mind now, overall for the predictions, my disclaimer at the start, because I don't call myself a psychic. I have openly shared how I came to write out these predictions in an intuitive way, okay, hoping to tap into something a bit more, obviously, you know, but with great respect, okay? So the things that I covered in my last 2 prediction videos, I don't know if you watched them, you know, in a way, some of them have come to pass, you know, so I'm not suggesting either that you dismiss what I'm doing here, because I'm not telling you I'm a psychic, okay? So look, that is it. I am wishing you and your loved ones peace and good health. Thank you so much for listening. Slán go fóill, which is bye for now in Irish, and I'm wishing you all the best. What do you do when you know you've missed out on the future you were meant to have? I waited, and with the first breath of possibility, I jumped, sink or swim.